All right, everybody. Hello, it's Richard Hart, and I've got wonderful news for you. In 14 days and 3 minutes and 21 seconds will be the moment at which the next block becomes a snapshot block for HEX. If you haven't seen HEX, go to hex.win. If you like my referral link, you want 10% more coins, you can go to pumpamentals.com. It's like fundamentals, but pumpamentals. We've been waiting for this day for a very, very long time. The audits have found everything they will find bug-wise. We still have to publish them for you guys so that you can see their prettiness. But there's no reason to delay the launch based on cleaning up the verbiage in the audits. I can send you one that I'm not under NDA on. It's pre-final approval. If you want to read it. If you want to see the code, I can put you on the GitLab. When the devs are done making the wallet, as pretty as it can be, then I'll push the code to the GitHub, and then people can read it there too. But it's not that big a deal to just read it on the GitLab. They're both just hosted Git instances, right? What else? I think a new frequently asked question that I'm getting from a lot of people is, why won't the price dump on day 353? After everyone's been rewarded the big payday payout. And this is a basic misunderstanding of how HEX works. So if you free claim your HEX, then you're auto staked for a minimum of 350 days. And if you want to end your stake as quickly as possible, the first day or two of people will miss the big payday because you need to be staked on day 353. So if you just use the minimum stake length and you claim the first day, and I think even the second day, I have to publish the Excel sheet that has the exact timings on it, then it's actually on the website, I believe, then you won't even make the big payday. Then if you stake maybe day 3 and beyond, then you definitely get the big payday because you can't emergency unstake the free claims. And then the only people that will actually have coins available to dump on day 353 are people that claimed on day 3 or day 1 and 2 with adding an extra optional length to their stake. And that's it. From the free claimers. Now the people that have used the adoption amplifier, they don't have any type of auto stake, and they can stake for a day or, as long as they want up to the maximum. And who knows what they're going to do, right? But if you're concerned about this day 353 in regards to the free claimers, the majority of free claimers will occur after the first 1 to 3 days because there's 100 times more of those days, right? So it's a 350-day launch phase. And so the guy that has the last shortest, so if everyone chooses the shortest stake length possible, the guy that has the last of the shortest ones will occur on like day 701 because he claimed the last day of the claim phase on day 350, I guess 351 from the system start, but it's like day 350 of the claims because there's only 350 days of them because we start the adoption amplifier a day early because it gives out, coins at the end of the day. And if you want everyone to be able to start their stakes at the same time, then the free claimers and the auto stakers the free claimers and the adoption amplifier guys are only synced up if we start the adoption amplifier guys a day early because it takes a day for the lobby to be open and then close, and then they can get their coins at the end of the day. And they're still delayed by like that transaction to get their coins. So, in theory, the free claim guys can start, one transaction faster than the adoption amplifier guys that are like having to send a transaction to get their coins out of the lobby. So why do I mention all this? Because people think that there's going to be a huge price dump on day 353 because they don't understand that since claims lasted a year, dumps last a year, right? And because people can get paid up to 3 times more for having a 10-year stake, a 3,641-day stake, that in my opinion, I think people will opt to get paid more for staking longer than the minimum. And you don't have to do 10 years, you can do any portion of it. It's about 20% extra shares for every extra year that you stake, just like in the real world in a real CD. You get about 20% more interest for every extra year that you extend the period of your normal CD. So I guess that's the most, right? So the two most popular frequently asked questions are the day 355.3 dump one, which, you know, if you don't make your stake longer, then you will always have less shares because the price keeps going up. So we could get a 3x, a 5x, a 10x, a 1.5x. Depends on what people do. Depends on how many people stake. You know, that's the amount of increase in the share price that we're likely to see in this first year, depending on participant behavior. And so for fun, we'll just pick a 10x. If the share price goes up tenfold after day 353, because it's based on the highest ever seen ROI that anyone's ever got, well, the highest ROI that everyone's ever going to get is going to be at the end of that big payday. So the price is going to jump up massively just after that event, after the first end stake that occurs after that event. So if the share price goes up tenfold there, and you go to get back in, you're going to have 10 times less shares, is how that works. So there's a huge advantage to staking as long as you can, because you're going to get a much larger portion of that big payday, and you're going to get a larger portion of all the future inputs to the stakers, which are three things: interest in the system, big payday, all the bonuses, and early and late end stake penalties that get paid into there. So if people, you know, don't end their stake within 2 weeks of when they said they should, they start bleeding 1% a week, and it goes to the stakers. So the stakers have three profit inputs: early and late end stakes, and inflation in the system, which is less than 3.69% and only paid to people at the end of the stake. So we have a relatively high period of inflation when no one can sell anyway during the launch phase, or at least, you know, the auto stakers can't sell. And then after that period, after the launch phase, it's built for raw, you know, USD appreciation basically, because the inflation rate's very low. It's lower than Bitcoin's ever been, and Bitcoin's cut its inflation rate in half in the 10 years that it's existed. Yeah. So I'll take a look at chat here, see if you guys have any questions. I'm a little bit tired. I didn't really want to do the stream right now, but because I've been traveling, doing, you know, constant trade shows and interviews and events, getting the word out. But I told everyone I'd give them a 14-day warning before the snapshot, and so the list was mailed. Every Telegram channel was hit with the notice. Every Twitter channel that I have access to was hit with the notices that was HEX related. And then I figured I'd do a video for you guys, because for some reason I think some of you guys only follow me on YouTube, which is very silly of you, because YouTube gets updated the least and the latest. So Telegram's the absolute best. Twitter would be the second best. You should go follow HEX Crypto on Twitter, and you should follow Richard Hartwin on Twitter. You should join our Telegram. You should go to HEX Crypto, t.me/HEX Crypto, and t.me/ I don't know. You could use Strape. You could use Strape Charts. You could use Richard's calls. You can message me directly at Richard Hart, no spaces, Hart like the one in your chest, that spelling. You know, waiting for me to publish YouTube videos, very slow and inefficient and bandwidth intensive. So let's take a look at your guys' questions. Oh, if you want to see how easy it is to claim, there's a 1 minute and 30 second long video, like 1 minute and 34 seconds, that will show you importing your keys, which you might not have to do. If you have a hardware wallet, you don't have to import your keys. If you use Trezor and Ledger, they're already supported by MetaMask on the Ethereum side, and they're already supported by Electrum on the Bitcoin side. If you use Electrum already, you don't need to import your keys. They're already in your wallet. If you use, you know, Bitcoin Core, and you don't use a BC1 address, you use a normal SegWit or a normal one address, which the vast majority of people do, you don't need to move your keys, right? Most people that are already using a good wallet do not need to move their keys. But if for some reason, you know, your keys are sitting in a cold wallet, or they're sitting in a wallet that's too crappy to be able to sign a Bitcoin signature, which has been a feature for, you know, 9 or 10 years, then it shows you how to import your keys. It shows you how to claim and how to stake. It does it all in 1 minute and 34 seconds with me talking slowly and right-click copying things so that you can see what I'm doing very clearly. I've got to do that same video for the adoption amplifier because I haven't done that one yet, but it's probably also going to be maybe a minute or two long. So every single thing you'd actually need to do in order to claim your HEX, stake your HEX, and do all the awesome stuff in the system, it's about 1 to 3 minutes of stuff. It's very, very simple. I'd like to maybe make some videos to show you how to get Ethereum and get Bitcoin, before the snapshot. We'll see if I get around to that. Making videos with good production quality, like for instance, making a mobile video. I either have to point a camera at the phone, which sucks for production quality, or I have to install a virtual Android system on my computer, or there's a lot of solutions which I'm not exactly excited about. So I haven't done walkthroughs of like mobile stuff yet. But we have a lot of referrers that are making very good videos, and they want you to click the referral links, and you'll get 10% more by clicking them. And maybe one of those videos kind of answers the questions that you like. People ask about exchanges. So the other most popular question is, what happens to the ETH that gets sent to the adoption amplifier? Let me refresh your guys' memory. Okay, there's a law in the United States. It's called the Howey test, and it states that if people give money to a common pool with the expectation of profit solely from the work of others, then it is a security. And securities have very specific laws, such as you just can't trade them freely. You can't go into 7-Eleven and buy a security. It's illegal. In order to deal securities, you have to be a securities broker, and there's not that many of them, right? Which is why, you really prefer in crypto to not be a security, if at all possible, so that you can list on all the exchanges that aren't brokerages. They're not stock brokerages. They don't carry securities, but they do carry crypto. And if you want to be on those exchanges, you need to be not a security, right? So how does HEX avoid being a security? Lots of ways, but I'll list 2 of my favorites. One is you do all the work. So it's not an airdrop. No one is giving you something. You're creating your own thing. So when you claim your HEX, you are choosing what code you want to run. You're choosing the code that lives at a contract address. That's your choice. You are using your private keys to perform computation that you're doing. If you're not mining your own block and doing your own computation, you are paying someone else, that's surely not me, because I'm not an Ethereum miner, to do that computation for you. So you are the person you pay is running code that you chose to mint HEX. And that's the same whether you are free claiming it, where you're submitting a proof, or whether you're going to the adoption amplifier and submitting that you sent some ETH to an address. No one else can mint those coins for you. Only you can mint them. They're your computation that you are doing, and they're your private keys. And when you end your stake and you have your rewards, you have your interest, only you can mint your rewards. No one else in the world can possibly mint them for you because you are the only person that has your private key. Now, I guess you could give your private key to someone else and then they can do it for you. But the important point here is that the vast majority of all of the work is you. There's a smart contract. It lives there sitting on the blockchain. It can't do anything unless people run it. If you don't run it, there's no such thing as automatic. It just sits there, right? So it's a truly peer-to-peer network with no person in control. No one can update the contract. There's no secret codes. There's no way to change it. And that's another interesting facet. So solely from the work of others is the language that very, very clearly makes HEX not a security. And we have other things. For instance, since no one can improve the code, well, you can't really be promised work. Like the system is fully functional. There's no promises that any work will be performed no matter what you do. So there's a disclaimer that says, if you send Ethereum to the contract address, you must, agree that there's absolutely no expectation of profit from the work of others wherever possible, because, I've never made you any promises, and no one that I'm associated with has ever made you any promises. If you want to invest in a security and give your money to someone that goes and invests it for you and shows you return, go ahead and do that. We are not that. We are a peer-to-peer currency that runs on an open source network and doesn't have a central point of failure, right? It's all trustless and auditable and verifiable. So those are my two favorite "we are not a security" points. There's others. Now, why is it? So when people say, well, what's going to happen to the ETH? Well, it'd be very easy to do what everyone else does and make you big promises. And then your brain would go, big promises, maybe I will get more. And then you're more likely to be a security. It's not guaranteed that you will be, right? But you're getting closer to being one, right? You have to fit all of those principles to be one, and then maybe you're fitting closer into checking the box on one of those. So it's actually much harder to promise you nothing and to tell you have to expect nothing, you will receive no benefit from it. It's much harder to say that than it is to just make huge promises, right? Because that's what everyone did in 2017. They made huge promises, they raised billions of dollars, and then they didn't really do anything, and they kept the money. So, you could do it that way, or you could do it the more honest, harder way, which is the way that I'm doing it, which is to follow the law and say, you must have no expectations of profit from the work of others, right? If there's going to be profit, it's from the amazing design of the system, which just is what it is, and you're the one running it, or it's because you're doing stuff. It's not because I'm doing stuff. So those are the top two most popular things. I'd love to publish a chart of expected share prices in the future. You can kind of arrive at those and calculate those on your own if you go to stakehex.com, which is a community-made emulation of the contract, and you can stick different variables in there and see what the contract's likely to show as profit, and then whatever the highest profit is for any of those participants that ends a stake during that period, that would become the share price. So the share price is interesting in the system, and it's really the first time I invented this share price system. I'm very proud of it. It's funny the way it operates. If you look at the share price system and then you look at the most money anyone ever made, they're equal, because that's how the share price gets set. And so you'll know at any given moment how well somebody did in the system, because you can just look at the share price. And I don't know of any other thing or financial instrument or economic thing in the world where there's a running tally of just who did the best ever ratio. They put in this and they got that much more. I'm unaware of any other thing in the world that kind of real time tracks that as a metric. And it's really awesome because mathematically it's equivalent to just compounding interest for the early guys, so that longer stakes always outperform shorter stakes, or more specifically that shorter stakes recompounded can never equal the same performance as a longer stake in HEX returns. So we have this price chart that just always goes up, and there will be a huge jump on day 353 because of all those profit inputs. So because of that, it's extremely advantageous to have longer stakes in HEX terms. And it's very nice to know that whatever price you paid for a share today, right? So your share price is how many HEX you have to lock in order to get a share. It's nice to know that whatever price you got today, you will never, ever, ever possibly be able to get a lower price ever, no matter what, because the price literally cannot go down. Now, that price isn't directly related to USD price, but it feels to me like the scarcity in that system may lean on it somehow, right? Like when you have a limited edition baseball card, or a piece of art, and the guy that makes the art is dead. Human beings just tend to value things that are scarce. And then if you have flat or increasing demand and decreasing supply, then you get price appreciation. So anytime you look at the value of something becoming more scarce, it does require static demand or increasing demand, right? Because if you had decreasing demand, you could cancel out the benefits of the increasing scarcity. So those are the top two frequently asked questions that I'm seeing. Now, what do you have to do to make sure that you get your coins? Well, you need to put your coins in an address that you control, so that you have access to the private keys. Now, you don't have to be able to sign from those keys right away. You can do that whenever you want. Earlier is better, because you'll receive a 20% bonus if you claim the first day. You will be able to stake at the earliest possible price. It can only go up, the share price. And if you don't claim, you start bleeding out your ability to claim to the stakers at 2% a week. All of it's gone over 50 weeks to where you have nothing left. That's the carrot and the stick. You get in early, you get lots of rewards, and you get slow people's coins as you stake. If you get in late, you've bled your coins, you get less speed bonus, you have less, you've already bled away some of your stack. On week 25, you've got only half of your stack left, and you've only getting a 10% speed bonus, and you're already paying a far higher share price per share because there's been half a year of people, ending their stakes, ratcheting that price up. So when you want to sign to claim, you need to mine your own Bitcoin, rather mine your own Ethereum transaction, or pay someone else to do it for you, right? Which probably will be more common. People tend to pay maybe a penny to 3 pennies to run a transaction. It's pretty affordable. Yeah, and there's guides and tutorials for all this stuff. We actually have a Telegram channel called HEX Videos, and there's also a YouTube channel, youtube.com/HEX Crypto, and then on Telegram, t.me/HEX Videos, where we just kind of collect some simple videos so people can see them. Yeah, and I believe the most important part of the system is the adoption amplifier, because if you don't already hold Bitcoin, I think you're going to make a lot more putting your economic energy into Ethereum and joining the adoption amplifier than you are by paying the bid-ask spread and worrying about the Bitcoin price moving against you to get in to FreeClaim and then get back out. It's risky. There's a lot of fees. It's wonderful to do it if you already hold Bitcoin. If you already hold Bitcoin, it's a no-brainer to claim the free coins and then, dump your BTC for ETH and then turn your ETH into HEX in the adoption amplifier trustlessly with no counterparties. That's awesome, right? And if you click somebody's referral link, you're going to get a 10% bonus for doing each of those things, which is nice to get 2 bonuses. If you don't already have the Bitcoin, then the math on how low your cost to jumping in and out of Bitcoin would have to be very, very, very low for you to just outperform the adoption amplifier. The only way that the adoption amplifier isn't a cheaper, more efficient way than buying Bitcoin to FreeClaim is if tons of money, like millions and millions and millions of dollars, goes to the adoption amplifier, and it has to do that every day it's open, or you'd get a great deal that day, right? So I think the last time I did the math, and you can do your own math, it's on hex.win/adoption-amplifier.html. If your round trip cost to get in and out of Bitcoin is like $100 a coin, then I think something like more than $8 million would need to be sent to the adoption amplifier the first day in order for it to become break even. And then if even extra Ethereum got sent that day, then free claiming would have been a better deal. But it really depends on what it's costing you to round trip, right? So, let's look at it this way. Bitcoin's let's call it 8,000. And if you pay 0.5% to get in and 0.5% to get out, well, that's 1%. That's $80. And then you need to pay the bid-ask spread as well. It adds up, right? And then what if the price moves? So what if you buy to FreeClaim and everyone else is doing it, so the price moves high, and then once you FreeClaimed, you sell it back down and everyone else is selling too, and then you're getting kind of chopped on both of those movements because everyone else is trying to do the same thing at the same time in theory. So I think the math works out that people do a lot better for their economic energy in the adoption amplifier than they will buying just to FreeClaim. But you could do both. You could buy to FreeClaim, click a referral link, get your 10% bonus, and transform into ETH, join the adoption amplifier. Now, I think people are going to over FOMO day one on the adoption amplifier because it looks like what people normally do. I published the chart of what people did on the EOS launch. They raised $4.2 billion using a similar mechanism over 350 days, where you could send Ethereum to a contract and get an ERC20 token out, which is what HEX is. It's an ERC20 token. And it appeared that they, over FOMO day one. So I've been telling people in my chat, maybe spread your inputs to the adoption amplifier over the first week. The share price might not have ratcheted up that high yet, and maybe you'll get lucky and catch a bargain. But now really it's a Keynesian beauty contest. The ideal game theory is to, everyone is guessing what everyone else is going to do, and then it's self-referential. It's a dynamic system that changes based on what everyone does, right? And then people are watching what everyone's doing, and so it's impossible to predict what will happen. My gut feeling is that I think people will get better ratios on like day 2 through 5. But if everyone believes what I just said and takes the same advice, then you won't get a better ratio day 2 to 5 because then everyone's doing the same thing, right? And then in that case, getting in day 1 would be better because day 1 has probably twice the coins, the hex in it, that day 2 has. In my models, it seems like day 1, it's programmatically factual that day 1 will have 1 billion hex in the adoption amplifier to hand out. And day 2 probably will have around 500 million. And because the more people that FreeClaim, the less coins are available to the adoption amplifier, is how the math works. So, day 2 is the total number of unclaimed and unclaimable coins and all the penalties and all that stuff. Those coins, 1/350 of them is given out over the 350 days. And so in effect, you're giving out the average of the unclaimed coins, which equals, in my models, the average. So if someone makes a really big claim one day, it doesn't actually reduce that much the amount of AA coins that day because the reduction is spread over all of the remaining days. And so there's this like damping effect where, a ton of claims, it does reduce the total amount given to the AA system, but it reduces it over all of the remaining time, which like dampens the effect, right? A lot of cool stuff going on here. If you guys haven't, researched it and looked into it, join the chat room, ask the questions, read the FAQ. It's an amazing system with speculative stickiness. The more time it takes to figure these things out, and the more interesting and fun things are to watch. Like, okay, well, how big's the average stake, and how big's the average length, and what percentage of coins you're staking, and how much is that big pad at the end? You don't have any of that in any other cryptocurrency. None of that stuff is there. And so there's more fun and interesting things to watch and speculate on here than there are on any other system that I've seen in crypto. And that's a competitive advantage. And the fact that it's a little bit complicated and it takes a little bit of time to understand, the most successful video games in the world are extremely complicated, right? If you want to play League of Legends, you got to learn, 80 or 100 characters that have 5 moves, right? 4 basic moves and an ultimate. Well, guess what? Has a whole lot of permutations, right? And they work with each other and they synergize. Games are very complicated. Life is very complicated. Even sports are very complicated. And they only seem simple to us once we've been looking at them for a long time. And those two things, sports and games, consume giant swaths of human consciousness and are interesting to look at, which is why people in their free time tend to kind of look at those two things almost more than anything else I could think of, at least, the guys I know. All right, let's go and look at chat here. We've got, can't you just abuse the adoption amplifier since spending ETH on it and getting it back since it's your contract? So this was a theory that people came up with in EOS. People couldn't believe they raised $4.2 billion. So there was a rumor that they would get Ethereum into the contract, and then they would take it out, and then they would, launder it or something, and then put it back in, and then raise the price. Now, I don't think they actually did that. So the consensus guys, so EOS is a competing project with Ethereum, and the Ethereum consensus guys basically tried to put out a hit piece on them because, EOS dumped their price hard, right? So over 7 million Ethereum, over $4.2 billion of Ethereum, I believe, was sold into market, pushing the Ethereum price down. And, it launched on Ethereum, which is kind of like, wow, they launched on this thing to try and kill this thing. Interesting. And they made more money in crypto than anyone else has ever made, more than Satoshi, more than anyone. So they wanted to see whether it was really the case that happened. And I read the report, and the report has no conclusions whatsoever to that effect. It just says, yeah, they withdrawed this money and they sent it to Finex. Okay? And then that's it. Okay, did they send it to Finex and turn it into Bitcoin? Well, apparently they did, because Block 1 apparently holds 100,000 Bitcoin. So Okay, well they didn't recycle that, right? Because you couldn't put Bitcoin back in the system. Okay, well what would it look like if they recycled the ETH? Well, they would probably withdraw it often to keep scaling up the snowball, right? But they didn't withdraw it often. They withdrew it like not that often at all and irregularly, right? And then if they had just dumped it for fiat, then you would have seen the same thing. They took the ETH out and they sent it to Finex, and then maybe the ETH price goes down. So there was nothing conclusive in that report. There was no evidence whatsoever that any recycling occurred. And so if there was that kind of recycling, I think that you would detect it in seeing the price or the ratio in the contract become unreasonable or illogical compared to the price that you could pay on exchange. Now, if you saw that, then you'd say, okay, why are people choosing to overpay there, right? So, and it's also all public. There's no really anonymity in Ethereum. If you want anonymity, maybe you could try and use something like Tornado.cash, but I believe that it's limited in how many coins it can offer anonymity for. Like if you're a giant input to an anonymity set, then you get less anonymity because you stand out more, I think. So I wrote a whole response to this. Like if you go into t.me/hex crypto and you type !Howey, it tells you must have no expectations, and here's the Howey test, and here's why this isn't a security. It tells you all that stuff. If you type !recycle, it tells you, how to detect recycling, how it worked out for the US guys wonderfully. Like, they settled with the SEC, even though they were a security, for 0.5% of their raise and got an exemption to be able to continue doing whatever they want. It couldn't possibly have worked out any better for them. And they did a 40x in the bear market. You're like, well, what do you want? Like, like they seem to, whatever they did seemed to have worked pretty well. So, there's people complain about this thing, they dream about it, but it's technically not even solvable, right? So like, what are your options? Oh, well, let's lock the Ethereum. Okay. So if a guy's got some HEX and some ETH and you lock his ETH, well, what does he have left to sell? Do you want him to sell HEX? Okay, that seems maybe like a silly idea. Maybe he had good plans for that ETH. Maybe he was going to do something nice with that, right? Do you want to restrict him from doing those nice things? Doesn't seem smart to me. And then, loans exist. And so if a guy has an address that has a guaranteed balance, then up to his credit worthiness, he could just get loans of ETH on his ETH that he's going to get, and then use that to pump up the price if he wanted to. So it's not even something that's solvable. It's just something that people complain about and whine about because they think they found something interesting, right? Like the number of people that come into chat and think that they've found something interesting, even though we've been for 2 years answering every single possible question, like to the point where they are CopyPasta now, where we have triggers and hotkeys that anyone in chat could call to answer their question. But they think that they found something exciting and special because they just now got there, right? It's like, hey guys, I just discovered this and I'm here to fix everything. Like, well, you're number 75 that has the exact same thing that they just said. And here's the well-written answer that we've given you. Now here's what I've run into that's a problem. When you give the CopyPasta response to these people, they're too stupid to read it. They just don't understand that it was custom tailored, designed specifically for them. They just think, it's CopyPasta, I'm not going to read it. And it sucks so bad to have to line by line type it out to them so their little brains can absorb the answers that were already written specifically for them, right? So I wish there was some way to put some type of brain opening, like really you actually have to read every line of this. It's been condensed and well written to address every question that you have. I wish there was some way I could get their brains to open instead of just hitting with a CopyPasta and they just ignore it. They're like, wall of text, can't handle it. Give me my props or whatever. Like that part kills me, which is why, I think a lot of founders, at some point, they stop participating in the communities, right? They only talk to other big guys. Right now, if you message me, I'm going to answer. If you talk to me in chat, I'm going to answer. But a year from now, I don't know, man. Maybe I get fatigued answering the same stupid questions a million times in a row. Maybe someone else can do that, right? That seems to be what founders tend to do. we'll see how that works out. So those are the top 3 hard questions, I guess. Where does the ETH go? Don't worry about it. You ain't getting it back. There ain't no benefit for you. Okay? Howey test. No benefit. Ain't your money. Don't worry about what happens to it. What else? Dump on day 53? Nope. The last FreeClaim with autostake happens at day 350, and so at day 701 that guy can dump, right? And usually growth is exponential. You get more users later than you get earlier, usually if the project's successful, which means that the majority of the dumping happens later, not earlier, because you have your least public awareness ever at launch, usually, right? More people know about Bitcoin now than they did at launch. More people know about Ethereum now than they did at launch. I believe it's very likely that more people will know about HEX a year from now or 2 years from now than they do at launch. What else? Recycle, dump, Howey. Those are our 3 triggers we got there for those frequently asked questions. Yeah. Probably add them to the FAQ at some point. But I'd rather, right now, I'd rather do walkthroughs of the AA system and maybe mobile wallets and maybe how to onboard as if someone that's never touched crypto before. How do I get Ethereum? How do I get Bitcoin? Right? I'd rather make videos like that than even update the FAQ, because I look at how many people hit the FAQ versus hit the main page, and it's a very small percent of people actually get from the main page to the FAQ for some reason. Low attention spans, I guess. I should mention this. Now that people realize we're going to be hitting the market, the haters come strong because they know that a lot of people are going to get rich and they're not. And this makes them very angry. So what you'll see is claims of Ponzi or bubble or pyramid, and all of these things are very stupid. So let me just remind you what those terms mean. A bubble is when people thought something was worth less, then they thought it was worth more, then they thought it was worth less. That is a problem of the people. People do stupid stuff. You can't really stop bubbles from happening. I mean, even in markets, they try and use a limit system to stop people you can only go limit up or limit down per day. They time gate it. That's a human problem. Thus, Amazon dropped 95%, and it's now 50% of internet commerce in the United States every year. So was that a bubble? Yes. Was it a scam? No. Okay, pyramid. Amazon has a referral program, single tier. You send them customers, they give you money. HEX has a referral program. Dies after the first year, but during the first year there is one. You refer people, they pay you, or you pay yourself, basically. So is it a pyramid? No. Why? Because pyramid requires more levels. A single level referral program cannot be a pyramid. In order to be a pyramid, you need more levels and more middlemen leeching efficiency. HEX is not a pyramid. Since HEX doesn't have a price yet, it's not a bubble. And since HEX can't make promises that it can't meet because it mints the thing it owes you, it's not a Ponzi. Ponzis fail because they're fraudulent, because they promise returns they can't pay. HEX doesn't make promises it can't pay. Whatever HEX owes you, it mints the reward to you. So unless there's some weird error or flaw in the world, or the audits miss something, which is unlikely, then it can always give you what it's owed, right? And the further thing is assuming that it has its own objective identity and gives or anything that's not even an accurate representation of what it is, because it's just code, right? People run the code. And so if you run the code, the math states that if you started with a little and then you staked for a while, well, now you're going to get more, right? Well, I'm just describing the mathematics that's in the code that you're choosing to run. So it's a little bit misleading to say that it owes you something when you owe yourself something. You're the one running the code, right? You're the one that can mint your own rewards. No one else can mint your rewards for you. Only you with your private key can do it. Sorry, I'm tired. Usually I'd be way more psyched and spicy and vibrant because I've been waiting for this day for a long time. But I'm jet lagged, and it's, these events are energy consuming. I just got back from Singapore doing, a bunch of talks. What else? Yeah. So in the notice at the bottom of this video, you'll see that there's a link to like timeanddate.com, and it just gives you a handy way to look up when the snapshot will be occurring, because it's UTC time, and the majority of human beings aren't used to UTC time. It's kind of like a computer internet time kind of thing. So if you click that link and you've clicked the correct link, then you'll see, what 000000 UTC time on December 2nd is for you locally where you live, assuming that your computer's time is accurate and, the browser can detect that. Do your own research. If you can't figure out what 000000 UTC time is, Google it. So just Google December 2nd, 00:00 space UTC space in wherever you live, right? And then Google should do the math for you and tell you what time it is there. It's your responsibility. If you don't have your coins where they need to be when you need to have them there, that's on you. I'm doing my best to try and describe to you what the contract is programmed to do, intention-wise. You need to make sure that you actually make that contract do what you want it to do, and perform the behaviors that you need to in order to get maximum performance. That's on you. I try and help. I try and say nice things to help you along. But if you don't know what time it is where you live, I can't help you. If you don't know how to use a computer, probably not going to be able to help you. If your internet access goes down, that actually shouldn't matter, because your coins aren't actually held in your wallet. Your keys are held in your wallet. Your coins are held in the blockchain. And the blockchain is a distributed immutable ledger, immutable lol. When you get orphaned off in a block, it's not immutable, right? But to some degree, immutable ledger becomes more immutable the more time passes, as you put more energy and more blocks on top of an older block. Then it becomes more and more immutable and harder to rewrite history. Yes, I do look very tired because I am very tired. But I wanted to get this video out. I had 10 minutes left to get this video out to you guys, so that even my YouTube users could be given a more than 14-day advance notice of when the snapshot would be, which is the most important part of this. So someone asked, what's the minimum amount of ETH to use for AA? You can send anything you want. So in Ethereum, the decimals are up to 18 decimals. That's an insanely small number, right? So you can send 0.00017 zeros and then a 1 of an Ethereum. And if you want to claim, as long as the share price is quite low, you can claim 0.0000001 BTC. That's 7 zeros and a 1 after the decimal point. That's a single Satoshi. And then in the Ethereum thing, what I described to you is a single GWEI, GWEI, is their smallest unit. And the smallest unit in Bitcoin is a Satoshi. The smallest unit in HEX is called a heart. So when you stake your HEX, you have staked hearts. Isn't that funny? So you can claim an extremely small amount of BTC. Now, if the share price gets high enough, then some of those claims will just fail because they can't auto-stake, because they can't afford to pay their own share price. But, you're probably already cash negative paying the miners a fee to process that transaction, because 0.0000 whatever has such a low economic energy anyway. So I don't see that as a big problem. What else? Will HEX be ported to its own blockchain off Ethereum? I don't want to do that because interoperability is better. So other people can build contracts on top of HEX. HEX could be used as collateral for other stuff, and that all works infinitely better, not infinitely better, but far better when you're all on the same chain. Because once you start to take things off chain, you have to use oracles, which are points of failure, or you have to do atomic cross swaps, which introduces extra fees and delays and reduces throughput. So if you can do everything on the same chain, it's better. And furthermore, Ethereum has the second most hash rate of anything in the world. So why not use that, right? It also has the auditors, and it also has, the lottery ticket that these new future developments are going to be awesome too, right? Like sharding and optimistic roll-ups and ZK snarks, and I could just beat you up with buzzwords that you probably don't understand, but there's a lot of really, really cool stuff on this ecosystem. The Ethereum developers have the most aggressive and opportunity-filled roadmap of things that they want to do, like remove the ASIC miners by implementing a new proof of work, which is ASIC resistance. Can't wait. Get rid of them, right? Centralizing entities that just dump the price. Let's get rid of those guys. That would make me happier. And they stop people from onboarding by freemium, right? So, I got into Bitcoin mining in 2011, the first quarter, mined full blocks on my own with no pool. I was only able to do that because it wasn't ASIC mining, right? I could do it with GPUs I already had. Now that ASIC mining's in Bitcoin, you don't have hobbyist users anymore because it costs a couple $1,000s to get an ASIC miner from somebody in a country you probably don't live in, that if they send it late, you lose half the money it'll ever make. It's vastly superior in crypto to use ASIC resistance, I believe. I mean, look what the miners did with the money. They made a fake copy of Bitcoin and tried to kill it. They tried to kill real Bitcoin with a fake copy. That's what they did with all the money they made from selling you miners. Not all the miners, but at least one bad one, the largest one. So, yeah, I don't really want to run HEX on its own chain. It easily could be, right? You could just fork ETH or run it on any of the other platforms that support Solidity, of which there are many blockchain platforms that do. It is the premier smart contract language. What else? Furthermore, even if I was going to do any of those things, I wouldn't tell you about it anyway because of the Howey test. Like, I can't promise you any future work. So in this case, I really, really, really don't have any intention or desire to do its own thing, because I think it works better touching and being near everything else, right? And being on the same chain. But if that chain started to suck, then I'm sure the community would be like, yo, let's airdrop the system state to another thing, right? That's how you make progress in blockchains. You get consensus socially. All blockchains are socially consensus networks. Socially enforced. Anyway. What's next? Let's say I have one BTC on a Ledger Nano or S. How do I claim HEX? Well, there's a video in HEX Videos Telegram that a dude made. I think his name's Yellow Cake. It's funny, Yellow Cake used to argue in chat, and then he became productive and made a video that helps people. So smart people, they like to argue, and then after you argue with them for 6 months, then they become useful. It's great. So on the Ledger, you cannot, because Ledger's functionality for signing statements is broken on Windows, you can't sign natively using a Ledger on Windows, so you have to use it through Electrum, and I like Electrum. And so there's a guide to show you how to use your Ledger through Electrum. Your keys still stay in the hardware wallet, they still stay in the Ledger. You can also sign natively with a Trezor, and you don't need to use it through Electrum, even though you could if you wanted to. And then MetaMask supports both the Trezor and the Ledger. Now, one of our community members, Phil, a super nice guy, he wrote an open source piece of software that does allow you to sign natively a Bitcoin statement using your Ledger, but it only works on Linux. So if you're a Linux user, then you can look up Phil's open source software that allows you to sign statements natively from your Ledger if you're on Linux. But personally, I would rather see people just use Electrum and use that as the front end for their hardware wallet. And you're still getting all the hardware security, your keys still live in the hardware device, and you're getting the easier convenience of, the very well documented, probably most popular Bitcoin wallet, which is Electrum. Someone asks something unrelated about. I would love to answer this question, but I don't want to pollute this beautiful stream that is about HEX with talking about other people doing things that are stupid. In crypto, if you want to find people that pretend to be other people, you can find that, and it's terrible and it's stupid. A lot of people pretend to be Satoshi, which is so very stupid. And Satoshi invented a system to get rid of trust and replace it with signatures. And then all these idiots appear and go, I'm Satoshi, but I can't sign anything. Okay. Well, the first thing Satoshi would do is sign something. The last thing he would do is spend hours trying to convince you why he can't sign. Cryptographic signatures is what I'm talking about here. Can you show what the wallet looks like? Yes. Go to youtube.com/hex crypto. There's one video there. It's 1 minute and 34 seconds long, and it shows you how to import your keys into Electrum, go to the wallet, sign, stake, claim, everything. 1 minute and 34 seconds with slow talking and right clicking. I need to do that for the AA system as well. I would like to do that for Konami. I'd like to do that for other wallets. If I don't, tough luck. Use the communities. Go get a ref link and make your own video, and hope people click it and enjoy it. I have seen many tokens launch, and we have got vastly more stuff available to the users than any other token I've ever seen. Our FAQ is the most detailed. Our front end is better. Like our front end kicks the crap out of EOS's front end, which you can't even find historically now because they deleted the videos. But I used to make fun of how bad it was. I'm like, look at how terrible this UI is for the EOS launch and their contract. Yeah, we're pretty much over prepared for launch, compared to how other people have launched, right? So I'm very happy with where we're at. What else? Can I sign your t-shirt? No. The shirt's too big, right? So this particular shirt, we have a whole HEX apparel shop, which I have up. It's on hexshirt.com, but I've got billing turned off. So you can browse, you can check out hexshirt.com, but you're not gonna be able to buy anything because I don't feel like hearing 1,000 "where's my shirt" shipping questions, which is what happens when you do retail. I know because I used to do retail. I'd rather have that suck after launch, right? So probably turn on that after launch, unless I get really bored. But I believe it would be a mistake for me to spend my time fielding customer service calls for retail stuff when I could be calling whales I know, or calling exchanges, or writing copy, or designing banner ads. Like, there's so many other things I could spend my time on that I think scale better than that. My posture. Oh, my poor posture. What else? Yeah, I guess that's enough. So I'm tired. Otherwise, I would be super, super psyched because I've been waiting for this day for a long time. And now it's happening. 2 weeks. 14 days. I mean, I'll give you the actual timer. Ready? 13 days, 23 hours, 10 minutes, and 0 seconds. I'm going to have to work harder. I don't want to work any harder. I don't think I can work harder. Yeah, all right. So that's it. Claim your free money. If you want the most HEX, this thing is designed to appreciate faster than anything that has ever existed in the entire world, literally. It's not that exciting of a claim as you might think because it's already in the ecosystem of the other stuff that's already appreciated faster than anything else has in the entire world. If you bought Ethereum and you held it for 3.5 years from the day it launched, you would have made 4,300x return. Not bad if you sold the top. 4,300x is pretty good. 4,300 times your money. And it didn't have the price pumpamentals that this has. So I think that this could do absolutely amazing things. Now, is it a guarantee? Nope. I have no idea what's going to happen, right? I can't tell you how many people are going to claim. I can't tell you how many people are going to join the adoption fire. I can't tell you how much ETH they're going to send. I don't know any of those things, right? I can tell you the design goals and the decisions, why they were made the way they were, and how I think that will pan out. I can describe the contract and the math to you, but like, there ain't no guaranteed USD returns here. That is not a thing, right? Anyone that ever promises you guaranteed USD returns, probably scamming you. What I'm describing to you is math that pretty much guarantees you HEX returns. You do have to end your own stake and use your own keys and mine your own block or pay your own fees in order to get the contract to do those things that it's designed to do. So did I ever finish explaining that? Yeah. So HEX doesn't have a price. It ain't a bubble. It doesn't have a price yet. It's not a Ponzi. It doesn't make you promises it can't meet. And it can't make promises anyway. It's just software you choose to run. So your software that you're running does that stuff, and then you can read the code. What else? Oh yeah, pyramid. It's not a pyramid. It's only got a single tier referral program, just like Amazon, just like Tesla, just like many successful, mostly digital businesses. Richard Hart, any insight why you think the USD price of HEX will move anywhere? Well, it's starting at 0. So since none of the exchanges that I've seen allow you to trade negative numbers, since they all trade positive numbers, and you're starting at 0, it really means price can only go up. Furthermore, since they're free, pretty sure price can only go up. Pretty simple math on that one. And that's before you account for world's first blockchain CD, world's first chart of future market supply. What other cryptocurrency has a referral program built into it that's not a scam? Like, I could go through all of the amazing firsts that are in the system. I think what happens to a lot of people is they look at crypto valuations and their brains just can't handle it, right? So if you tell anyone in the normal world that you could have got a 4,300x return in 3.5 years by holding Ethereum, they don't believe you, right? They think it's a joke, but no, people cashed out and they really made that. Not everyone, but some people did. And then, in this system, if you get 10x your HEX, now I'm just, you can go to StakeHEX and run your own models. I'm just using this as an example. It's a world of many that are possible. If you 10x your HEX in the first year, after the big payday, and the price went up 10x, those multiply and you're up 100x. Now, what coins show the highest ROI historically? Well, believe it or not, there's coins that have far higher returns than even the 4,300x that Ethereum had, because this stuff's insanely easy to move up in price. Imagine how easy it is to move up the price of a thing that lots of people want because everyone's got their target on this big pad at the end, and no one can sell because they're locked. What do you think is going to happen to the price? People are getting in, they're getting in, but no one's getting out. And this is what they do in the startup space too. This is what vesting periods for stocks do, right? This concept, this is what banks do with time deposits at the bank. This concept of locking up your money and getting more interest that you lock longer, it is a vital requirement. It holds $7.2 trillion of economic energy in the United States and China alone, many more trillions in the rest of the world. Well, someone has to build that, right? Someone has to build the peer-to-peer, audited, trustless time deposit system to, disrupt and replace and improve the existing system. Well, we did that, right? And it addresses a larger market than Bitcoin does, and it does everything Bitcoin does better, except for liquidity. Bitcoin has more liquidity. New token doesn't have as much liquidity, right? And Bitcoin has more retail adoption. Now, its retail adoption is pitiful. I saw a website that listed how many places you could spend your Bitcoin, and now that Bitcoin's been around 10 years, they've got 800 places. 800. Yeah, 800. Not 8,000, not 80,000, not 800,000, not 8 million. 800. That's pitiful and sad. But it's still more than HEX will launch with, right? Because it's new. So it takes time to build those things up. More secure, more resistant to inflation bugs, of which Bitcoin has had 2. 1 executed and needed to roll the chain back. one avoided because a Bitcoin Cash developer found it. Fees are lower. What else? Like, if you think Bitcoin deserves to have the price it does, well, this does a lot of things better than Bitcoin does. A lot, right? Well, like, shouldn't it have a pretty cool value too then, right? Like, if it does so many things as well or better than Bitcoin, shouldn't the market kind of reward that? And then, like, look at how many memes our guys make, and look at how popular our chat room is. Go into the Bitcoin chat rooms, dead, right? So now I still like Bitcoin, and we're still only giving free coins to Bitcoin holders. But this concept that, like, it's incapable to improve upon it, or that you can't, there's some magic that you have to use to justify the value of your currency. Whatever reasons that all of the other top 100 currencies or top 10 currencies, we're targeting being number one, the most valuable cryptocurrency. That is what this is designed to do. It's meant to do more than that. It's meant to not only become the number one cryptocurrency market cap wise, but also start to onboard millions of users from the real world. That's what it is designed to do, right? That's its design intention. If you can't understand why any of those other coins made the top 10 and you missed those boats, well, it's probably hard for you to understand why this would do the same, right? People take their worldview and they say, oh, well, I only care about this, but the market cares about something else, right? Like, I've never owned a Tether in my life. However, Tether does more volume and transactions on exchanges than any other cryptocurrency in history. So the market wants something that is hard for me to understand, and I have to have the humility to respect the market's wishes. If you want the market to buy something that you design, you have to respect what the market wants, right? Now, I like anonymity, but the market doesn't really seem to care that much. Or Monero would probably be worth more than Bitcoin. Trustless, fights ASICs, forks out the ASICs all the time, has actual anonymity built into it. Is it worth more than Bitcoin? No. Okay. Well, apparently people don't care about anonymity as much as I do, right? And I don't even own, I own like less than $100 of Ethereum, and I own less than $100 of Monero. So when I tell you that I like these things, it doesn't mean that I believe that their price is going to outperform other things. Good technology. Bitcoin's technology has got nothing but better. However, the price still dropped 85%. So what about that good technology then, right? It's only tangentially kind of related to the price. So yeah, like, if you don't understand why the other top 10 coins are top 10, then when I tell you why this is likely to go there, in my opinion, right? Or at least it was designed to do so, you're not going to understand how that was arrived at, right? Because you didn't understand any of the other ones. You might not even know what the top 10 coins are. If you don't know what the top 10 market cap coins are, you pretty much shouldn't be speculating. Like, you're unqualified. You don't know anything about the industry that you're in, about the market that you're in. You don't know about the customers that you're trying to serve. Is there a simple how-to video? Yes. Again, I guess you just got here. Go to youtube.com/hex crypto, or go to t.me/hex videos, or go to t.me/hex crypto. And yes, there's a minute and 34 second long video that shows you how to import your coins, claim, stake. You're good. And it does it slowly with slow talking. And I hope to do the same thing for the adoption amplifier probably tomorrow. Any other questions here? Let's take a look. If the snapshot is December 2nd, then, so if we have our snapshot a day before we actually launch the contract. So the real launch of the contract, when you can actually like join the adoption amplifier, it's going to be December 3rd. Yeah, total supply. Total supply is based on how many people were referred, right? So the system inflates based on bonuses. So how early do people claim? How many speed bonuses did they get? How many people were referred? How many refer bonuses did they get? How many whales tried to claim and, had whale penalties, and like it totally, it's rather emergent, right? So you can take a look at stakehex.com and run your own models. We also have a C# So we've modeled this system many different ways through many different softwares. So we've got a C# model of the contract that we can give you. You can run in a program called LinkPad to generate your own worlds of supply and which holders hold what amount and all that thing. We've also got that community designed one on stakehex.com. We've also got one in Excel, but it assumes all the users have the same stake length, so those other ones are probably better. Yeah. In my models, it looks like the supply will be in between, I think, 640 billion at the end of big payday, at like day 353, in between 640 billion and like 840 billion, I think, in that range. I published this. You can see it on the Telegram. So if you go to t.me/hex crypto and you type #supply, it'll bring up a search window that just searches for the word #supply, and then you'll see where I show what my Excel model showed as the supplies. Then you could compare that with StakeHex and see what their model showed. We targeted billions of units because that's what most other cryptos in the top 10 are denominated in, right? I could list them to you, but I'm like trying not to name drop other cryptos. It's hard work when you're doing competitive analysis and seeing what has worked the best for other competitors. It's hard work to not actually just name drop them. What else? So if you want to split your stakes up into different lengths, you need to, when you free claim, you can only choose one auto stake length, and it's a minimum of 350. And you can only choose one. So if you wanted to have multiple auto stake lengths on your free claim, you need to split your BTC up into a few addresses, as many addresses as you want, and then you will make one claim per address, and then you'll choose whatever auto stake length you want per address. Now, if you're already in HEX, you don't have to do any of that, right? You can just choose whatever amount you want and length that you want. So if you already have HEX and you're not free claiming it, like if you're getting it from the AA system or as a refer, then you can stake for a day, you can stake for longer, you can do multiple stakes, and you can do them all on one Ethereum address. And I think in theory, maybe if you have like tons and tons and tons of stakes, you might have to eventually do it from another Ethereum address. It might max out, but it's like it's a very, very large number that you're unlikely to hit. And you just send your ETH to another ETH address and do it from there. I'm reading these comments, which are much better than normal. Like, I'm pretty happy with the level of comments here. People are actually saying intelligent things in chat. This is like a miracle. I like it. Someone asked if I would let fake Satoshi claim HEX. Well, no, I wouldn't if I had reliably provable data as to what addresses he might have, but I don't. So the only reliable data I have for removing people from the UTXO set is Mt. Gox, because of their legal documents run by a trustee approved by the court, and the addresses are known and have been known for a long time. So the Gox not feature that pulls those guys out, that's easy to do. But finding the plus token guys, they've moved their coins around so much, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I'm nearly definitely not going to be able to do that due to time constraints at this point. And even if it wasn't time constrained, right? It's once you move coins around enough, you really have like a deterministic, is this really still their coins now, or did they sell them to somebody else? And do we want that other person to be able to play along or not? So, can we use Ledger for MetaMask and Electrum at the same time? I think so. I haven't tested it yet, so I'll let you know when I try it, but I think you can. I'd be very surprised if you couldn't. People are telling me that I'm very smart, but I need to take better care of my health. Yep, I know. working on it. I'm strong. I can deadlift 3 plates 12 times, and I only had to stop because my hands were giving up. Probably could have got maybe 14. Deadlifting's not health. Yeah, but if you're going to be fat, you might as well be fat and strong. So, at least I'm strong. But yes, I'd like to be not fat soon. We'll see. We'll see how dieting without cardio goes until maybe after HEX launches, and then maybe I could do some cardio in there. If I start doing cardio heavy, I end up going to sleep an hour or two earlier every day. It just nukes my body's energy more, and I would rather not sleep an extra hour or two a day or be awake less. So somebody says, I'm a C# dev. I'd love to look at that, man. Yeah, so just join the dev chat. We have a public dev chat. You stupid plebs that aren't devs, please do not join. I'll ban you. If you are a dev, come on in. t.me/hex crypto dev. And then just do a search for C#, C#, and then you'll see Kyle's code that he has. He's built for modeling the contract. You should definitely get on the GitLab. Any of you devs that are here, get on the GitLab, and I will add you to the repository. Just direct message me your handle. GitLab, not GitHub. I'm t.me/Richard Hart, spelled like the heart in your chest, no spaces. I should mention to you guys, there's 50 imposters of me on Twitter, and I don't even know if they're banning them. Ban some, maybe they don't ban them all. I can't keep track anymore. Don't send me Bitcoin ever. I'm not messaging you on Telegram. I'm never asking you for money, right? So don't give people to money that direct message you asking for it. They're impersonating me or someone else. Always verify who you're talking to is really who you think you're talking to by reaching out to them on a side channel that is really under the control and exclusive access of the person that you want to reach, right? And this includes anyone. If an FBI agent comes up to you and gives you his card, that does not mean he's an FBI agent. You could be getting a prank pulled on you. And this happens. People pull pranks on each other, particularly rich people, because they have time and resources. So then once you get the card, right, where does it say he works? Go look up in the phone book where he works and then call the number on that thing, right? Because he didn't fake the phone book, right? If you did fake the phone book, man, you're in a whole nother world of pranking. Go print a fake phone book and put it near you. People don't even know what a phone book is anymore, so maybe that's not the best analogy. Yes, when I was growing up, we had not the internet, no internet, and we had a big book that had everyone's phone numbers in it, a name, and that's how you found people. I never thought I'd be given that lesson. Everyone tells me to do carnivore and intermittent fasting. Yes, I know. I'm very aware. And then the vegan squad says go vegan. I know. I get it. I've lost 50 pounds 2 different ways. One with lots of exercise, one with extreme calorie restriction. I can do it. I'll get around to it. Is the code closed sourced? Okay. Ethereum is open source. The HEX contract is not open source. It's viewable, it's auditable, it's verifiable. It's all those things. But you are not licensed or allowed to make a copy of it to go build a competing thing. There's no advantage to anyone in the HEX ecosystem for people knocking it off, right? Same with the logo. The logo is not open source either. So you're not allowed to copy it and do stuff with it. Now, sometimes people message me and they say, hey, can I do this or that? And I'll say, sure, but I can take that permission back, right? And that's what I explain to them. I tell them the specific circumstances under which I'm okay with them using the logo. Chances are that if it's a good and wholesome thing that benefits the ecosystem, that I'm going to be okay with it. Ask, right? Ask me. What else? Somebody says, I remember the phone book. Great content, smart and stimulating. If you're stimulated by this, man, you should watch one when I'm awake. It's even more fabulous. I wore some extra drawers today just because. So I got this sick rose gold, white gold, yellow gold bracelet with white, blue, and yellow diamonds that I have just never worn on stream for some reason. And then I've got a ring that matches it, yellow, blue, and white diamonds too. But I don't like to wear this because they're invisible setting, so like the diamonds fall out, and I'm pretty sick of just watching the diamonds fall out. So this doesn't get worn very much, but I figured, hey, you know what? We're launching HEX. I might as well wear something a little more baller. What else? I've had these forever. I like them. I believe with the adoption of HEX CDs after 1 year, we need a site to spend the HEX buying things. Yeah, well, I mean, that's up to the community, right? So I'm okay with if people want to use HEX for transactions because the fees are quite affordable and the contracts are audited and you have, you know, more security storing value there than other places. That's cool. I support that. If people just want to use it as a store of value and use it as a place to get, you know, mad gains, I'm okay with that too. And then if you want to transfer it into something else that you like better transactionally, go ahead, right? I'm okay with both realities. In my opinion, I care about maximum ROI, price appreciation. And for price appreciation, you want people to buy and hold and not sell. And transactions doesn't actually help that much, because in transactions, you buy it, you send it, and then they sell it. And then the price went up and then it went down. Well, and then unless people just hold like a float, or there's so much of that going on that it creates a virtual float through latency, it doesn't move the price as much as you want, right? That's why processing companies like PayPal, MasterCard, Visa are not worth trillions. They're worth billions. But a cryptocurrency could be worth trillions, right? Like the cryptocurrency market cap was over $1 trillion, I believe. So the cryptocurrency market cap was worth more than Visa and MasterCard and PayPal put together for a while. Well, that's neat, right? I would like to see people buy and hold and store their value there and keep it there forever and give it to their kids, right? I don't, there's definitely not as much price appreciation potential in a processing network where people buy and then sell as there is in a thing that people buy and don't sell. Buying and not selling is worth so much more. Like buying and holding is worth so much more than buying and selling, right? Because buying and holding doesn't have a sell event. So they push price back down. But buying and selling has a buy and a sell, and then the sell pushes the price back down. So there's not actually as much upside price-wise to all this. Oh, I want to use it to buy stuff. You know, can you use your Berkshire Hathaway stock to buy stuff? Can you buy coffee with your Berkshire Hathaway stock? Can you buy coffee or cars or anything with any stock of any company? Apple stock. Can you buy coffee with Apple stock? No. Amazon stock? No. Okay, but how's the price on that? Amazing. But you can't buy coffee with it. But people are just so stupid. They don't understand these things. There's a lot of people that are in crypto that are so much smarter than the people that they're used to being around, but still so very stupid compared to what they could be, right? Like, I'm telling you things that are obviously true when you think about them, but for some reason people just don't think about them. You would have done, if you weren't in crypto and you wanted highest possible fiat gains, perhaps Amazon and Apple stocks and Microsoft stock and, you know, Starbucks stock, maybe those stocks were the highest gains available, right? That you could actually get marketed and maybe get onboarded to. Well, you can't buy coffee with any of those things. So the other highest appreciating assets that have existed outside of crypto that were well marketed and you could have actually got on board to, you can't buy coffee with them. So why would anyone think that in order for this other thing to go up in value, that you would need to be able to buy coffee for it? You can't. And then even Bitcoin itself disproves that. Bitcoin went from nothing to 20,000 a coin, and you can't buy coffee with it anywhere. So, like, I don't understand this fetish that people have with, you know, needing the thing that's already the highest appreciating thing in the world to also handle their coffee. And I don't even drink coffee, so I don't drink coffee, I don't drink alcohol, and I just can't get the coffee buying meme. Silly. It's just like gold, right? Can't buy coffee with gold either. Price went up 30% this year. Figure it out, guys. Figure it out. It's not like, you know what? The things that you can buy coffee with, they didn't go up 30%. Did Visa go up 30% this year? So what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, open your minds, open your brains. I don't get it. Like, so someone says, so on day 2, is there another billion in the AA bucket? No. Day 1, there's a billion, because day 2 through 351, which is really like day 1 through 350 of just the claims, right? There is 1/350th of the unclaimed coins every day. Now, in my models, because so many coins aren't even claimable, so they're forced to be unclaimed, right? Like whale penalties and Gox Me Not and multisig can't claim. About 2/3 of the Bitcoin supply looks like it can't claim even if it wanted to. Well, then 1/350th of that is going to go into the adoption amplifier. Now, those same unclaimed kind of coins, they're also, plus all those bonuses, they're also being given to the stakers at day 353 in the big payday, times adoption bonuses, virality and critical mass, which can increase it up to 3-fold if everyone claims. Now, the adoption amplifier doesn't get those viral and crypt bonuses. So the adoption amplifier gets less coins than the big payday does. So in my models, it looks like, about 500,000 coins per day is likely to be available in the adoption amplifier. And if a lot of people claim, then that could go down to as low as about 240 million per day. Depends on how many people claim. The more people that free claim, the higher the adoption bonuses, the bigger the payout on big payday to stakers, and the less coins that are available to the adoption amplifier, because it just gives out a copy of the unclaimed coins. And unclaimed is, unclaimed plus unclaimable plus late claim penalties plus Gox Me Not plus whale penalties, right? There's a lot of inputs to make that big payday number large. In AA gets a number smaller than that. Richard, without so stupid. See, this is what I mean about the internet, right? People think that they're smart, but they're not smart. So here's this question. Richard, without all due respect, you did not answer my question. Now, it's like technically that double negative means with no due respect, which means disrespectfully. He says I didn't answer his question, but I don't remember your random handles question, bro. What did you ask me? Yeah, if his question appears, I'll try and answer it. I don't know, people make up random internet names and then they identify with them and then they expect you to remember them. So Skateboard Smasher 69. I'm sorry, I don't remember your stupid question. I'll search his name because I'm actually curious, because I like to answer people's questions whenever possible. My search function isn't working right. Let's try it again. Oh, all right. Success. Great content. Hey Richard, currently have majority of BTC with BlockFi to earn interest. Can I use an address from BlockFi to FreeClaim? No, because they're not your coins, because you don't hold the keys. Not your keys, not your coins. Okay? Furthermore, if you lend your coins to make some pitiful single-digit % per year with the counterparty risk that you may never see your coins again, you're stupid. You're accepting a lot of risk for very low return. I would not do that. I don't think trustless interest through the HEX contract is an amazing idea. You don't have counterparty risk because it's just you and your contract that you're running. When you start to use these other services that lend your money out, what happens if they get hacked, bro? People get hacked, right? Relatively often in the exchange space. Well, you're going to lose all your money. Do you want to lose all your money? You want me to list you some exchanges that lost everyone's money? Stop lending out your coins for pitiful interest to counterparties. It's stupid, in my opinion. Why would I take the risk and never see my money again for 8 or 9% a year in crypto? And no, stupid. And furthermore, I didn't even see your question. So it's not like I didn't answer it. I never even saw it. You have any questions in here, man? A lot. Did they fix my broken keyword? No, I left it broken because it actually needs a new ThinkPad pressure sensor for the track point. The metal bar broke off of like the ceramic piezo sensor they use to detect pressure. So I actually have to buy a whole new part for that, and I don't have time. Like, I'm just using a different track point. What does your self-worth come from? Yourself. That's why it's called self-worth. Do I own my own private hex keys? Well, you generate them, right? So like if you use MetaMask for your wallet, which I suggest, well, actually, if you use MetaMask and you use a hardware wallet, then the hardware wallet generates your keys, which would be a Ledger or Trezor. If you use MetaMask itself, then that application in your browser generates the keys, and then you have them. And as long as you're the only person that has access to your computer, then yes, they should be private to you. Someone asked, why is it so hard for people to get that the BTC must not be in a custodial account to FreeClaim? Probably because they don't know what the word custodial means even. Like, think about how stupid the average person is and realize that half of people is stupider than that, which is why that guy got to be average. Now this assumes like an even distribution left and right of the bell curve, which I believe is accurate for intelligence. If you don't understand statistics, you're not going to understand bell curves and distribution shapes. Should the people you call dumb and stupid buy HEX? Yeah, probably more than anyone. Yeah, I think that sounds like a great idea. You know, look, I'm not a financial advisor. I do give opinions on what I think markets will do because I believe in free speech, and I seem to be qualified to do it. I have a very good track record. You know, what you do, what you buy, what you don't buy, that's up to you. I can tell you that this is designed to be the highest appreciating thing that's ever existed in the history of man. And it's founded by a guy who, you know, is a serial entrepreneur, wrote a couple self-help books. You can download them from t.me/Scivive. You know, had his own 150-employee marketing company, founded from scratch. Has 100,000 followers across YouTube and Twitter. Like, if you, I like this thing. I like me. I like this thing. I think it's awesome. If you want to buy something that's awesome, I would definitely take a look at this. And I tell people, if you want the maximum HEX for your economic energy, and you already hold BTC, FreeClaim with your BTC, sell it for ETH, send the ETH to the adoption amplifier, maybe spread it over the first 5 to 7 days, unless everyone else does that, and then just doing it in the first day would be best. But you know, I think people are going to over FOMO the first day. So over the first 5 to 7 days, and then I think that's how you can get the most HEX for your economic energy. You know, edge cases would be you found some idiot that's just willing to sell it to you below market at some large rate. Okay, well, cool. You found some weird exception that's unlikely in an efficient market where with rational actors that act in their own best interests. I mean, you can refer people too, right? It's if you've got people that can click. If you've got people that can click and convert, then you can do that too. Where can we find these tutorial videos? It's the fourth time I'm mentioning this. YouTube.com/HEX videos. I'm sorry. I'm so tired I even got it wrong. YouTube.com/HEX crypto. There's a 1 minute and 34 second long video there that shows you how to import your keys, FreeClaim, and stake. It does it slowly, slow talking, and right-click copy, right-click paste. And if you're using a good wallet, you don't even have to import your keys because your keys are already in your wallet. I hope to do another video similar to that for the adoption amplifier because it is, in my opinion, the most important part of this entire system. You can also go to t.me/HEX videos. where we've got, some other videos very similar to that one. Someone says, Richard, get on this person who's a trader. I've already been on his thing. So person in chat that said, hey, get on this trader's thing, go and search his videos. We've already done an hour-long thing on there. So you just didn't know that we did it. We did it maybe 8 months ago. I've been on a lot of people's shows on YouTube. So someone says, forgive me if this is answered already. As far as I know, at some point in time, you need to share your private key to benefit from the fork. No. No, you do not. You do not need to share your private key with anyone ever at all. Your private key never even has to touch the internet ever at all. The only thing your private key does is let you sign a signature, which you can do offline. That's all it does. And then you can copy paste that signature or write it, put it on a USB stick, or whatever you want, move it over to a computer that does have internet access, and then submit it with your couple pennies of ETH or mine your own block. And then you're claimed and you minted your own coins, right? You don't have to install weird software that can steal your keys. None of that crap. Don't install weird software. Don't send your private keys anywhere ever, right? If you've already got a wallet, it's already got the private keys in it, you never even have to see them. Never even have to look at them, right? They're just already in your wallet. You choose which address you want to sign from, you copy paste a statement, and you click sign. You're done, right? So there's none of that crap. I believe in secure, right? And if you want total anonymity and you want to leave as anonymous as you entered, right? Like the server that we're running, it doesn't even log anything. There's no logs, just HTML currently, right? There's no I can't go in and be like, yo, give me all the IP addresses of the people who access the thing. It's not even an option. It's on AWS. I'm unaware of some place I can click to even get that information. Maybe AWS has it. I don't have it. I don't care about it. I don't want it. I don't want to know your IP. I have no interest in knowing it. The less I know about you, the better, right? That's more secure for you. If you believe that, hacks exist and you believe that privacy is good, then the less data you have from people, the better it is. Because I don't have to worry about protecting it if I never have it. So I don't, what was the question? Do I have to install weird crap or show my private keys? No, you don't have to do any of that. And so my tips are, you can use this over Tor, you can claim 1 Bitcoin address per an Ethereum address, and then you're not mixing anything together. And even if someone were trying to log your IP, they wouldn't know it because you're using Tor. So you're just as anonymous as you started, right? There's some BTC addresses over here that send balances. And now there's some HEX addresses over here that have balances. Cool, right? Now, one by one, someone could see that this did claim that because you have to have that for auditing. That's how you know nobody got any free coins, right? Someone says, isn't this really about getting people just to give you ETH for HEX? Well, actually, the way that this was designed, it was going to be just something you could free claim for HEX, or you could just free claim with BTC. The problem with that is if you look at the history of free-only airdrops, their performance is crap. Why? Because people don't want free things for free. People want expensive things for free. People want things they care about for free. So how do you get people to care? Well, they have to sacrifice something that they wanted, that they liked, or they need to hold it for a while and be emotionally invested in it and be watching the charts for a while. These are the two best ways to generate human desire and emotion and, to some degree FOMO in a thing. So if we had only allowed people to free claim, then the referrals would be screwed because the only people that could onboard were people that had BTC at the snapshot, which is the super, super tiny minority of humankind. The vast majority of humankind, which learns about the project later, will be trying to get in after the snapshot and will not have had BTC back then, and they can't time travel to have had BTC back then. So if you want people to be able to onboard globally without crappy order books and middlemen and fees in the way, and if you want your referrers to be able to onboard people for a year after the first launch day, then they need to have something other than the free claim mechanism. And so I thought, okay, well, why don't we make a copy of the unclaimed coins and put them through the adoption amplifier that lets people just transform ETH into them. And then anyone that has access to ETH can get onboarded. No brainer. I never actually did the math because it seemed just fair. Like, okay, here's the unclaimed coins, and we'll make a copy for the people that want to join the adoption amplifier, and then the referrals will have something to do. I never actually did the math to see what the ratio was of FreeClaim to adoption amplifier. And then when I did the math, it still seems amazingly fair to me. The stakers are going to get more coins than the adoption amplifier people. And you're forced to be a staker when you FreeClaim, which means that you're forced to participate in those mad gains of the big payday, unless you claim the first or second day. And then you have to add a day or two optional days to make that big payday payout on day 353. So, yeah, the stakers are getting more coins than the adoption amplifier guys, and the free claimers are being forced, for the vast majority of them, to be recipients of all those coins. Seems entirely fair to me, like overly fair, right? So I'm very happy with the ratio of free claim to AA to stakers and the supply breakdowns. I think it's great. If you do feel like whining and complaining about the free money that you're given, though, do visit choosingbeggars.reddit.com. It's actually really funny. It's a list of people that tries to get free stuff. Like they'll see like a free bed on Craigslist, and then they'll call about the bed and they'll say, yeah, I want the free bed. Can you deliver it? Can I get some sheets to go with that? You're like, go check out the subreddit. It's pretty awesome. It turns out that people are disgustingly ungrateful, and even though you bust your ass for years giving them free information, free knowledge, free chat rooms, free live streams, free price predictions, free tokens, free everything, right? They've still got shit to talk, right? Because they want more from you, right? So like disgusting, ungrateful leeches. It just blows my mind. Now, on the other hand, I have a ton of people that really is appreciative and really is thankful and is grateful and gives back and helps me in return and has made my life better. And I really appreciate all those people. And, there's a ton of them in HEX Crypto. There's absolutely a ton of those guys in HEX Crypto that have helped me deal with, hard technical problems that I've faced and, wording things. And, we got a guy that's heading up our Asia division that just, self-starter. Hey, I want to make this thing big in Asia. Okay. Awesome, man. All right, let's do it. And some other people are like, hey, let's translate all those videos to Chinese. Hey, let's set up WeChat. Oh, let's get that Asian YouTube going, right? Because in China you can't access Twitter, and you can't access Telegram, and you can't access YouTube. And so on HEX, all the videos are on YouTube, and then we had to make a special hosted version just for the Chinese page because they can't watch YouTube videos at all. So, that's amazing that he's helping make that happen out of the kindness of his heart. And I've had other people try and do that. But then I've had people in chat that just whine and complain and cry like little bitches. Where do I buy the HEX mug? Well, you could buy it from the site if I turn billing on, hexshirt.com. But I don't feel like turning the billing on until after we've launched, because I know it's going to be a customer service nightmare. Because anytime you ship anything, you have shipping problems, and then it's all phone calls, and it sucks. What else? I want my free HEX apparel with my free HEX claim. It's like I can't possibly give you guys more free stuff. Like, I have no shopping cart where you can possibly give me money, and I have no known crypto address where you could possibly give me money. So I give crypto people more free stuff, like the limit of my capacity to give you guys free stuff for years. So someone asked, what are my personal goals in life? Step 2 for me after HEX is Scivive. I'm 40 now, and if the medical technology I need isn't being developed this moment, it won't be ready in 20 years when I need it. And I'm going to need it. I'm going to die a painful death. Unless I get hit by a bus, and it's like really quick, but try not to get hit by buses. So the issue is, how can I get the medical technology that I need to exist in 20 years ready? Well, I need kids going into school to start caring about biology now, or material science, or AI, or machine learning that's medicine related. Those things kind of all amplify each other. If I don't do that, then like my grandparents that are all dead, like my dog who died and who I did nothing for any of them, I too, and everyone else I love, will die. And that is regrettable, and it's unfortunate, and it won't always be that way. At some point, medical technology will be far better, and life spans will be 4 to 5 times higher. And it just sucks that we missed that window by a decade or two, and then we're permanently expired when, maybe our kids or our kids' kids could live to a couple hundred years old biologically at 20 or 30, and think about all the things they could achieve, right? Oh, well, they'll get bored. Okay, well, I doubt that. People don't have good memories. What'd you eat for lunch last Thursday? You don't remember? Okay, well, tell me where the boredom comes from then, right? And I assure you that if we can cure biology to that level, we can cure boredom too. Like, I've got a whole list of, the misconceptions people have about what living healthy for longer would look like, because they don't understand how it works. They think you get old and stay old. It doesn't work that way. You stay young, and you just stay young. That's it. Like, if you're already frail, we can't help you. If you're already robust, we can't help you. If we can get 1 year of regenerative medicine every year, then we reach longevity escape velocity. And then we basically just die from accidents at 600 statistically. So that's the next step for me, is Scivive. Making more money, it's not going to change my life. I have everything I want. Medical technology is the next step. The Grim Reaper is coming for all of us. It's already killed everyone in our family trees above, right? So do we want to fight the Grim Reaper while we can still stand and put up a good fight? Or do we want to die with a whimper? I'm not into dying with a whimper, right? Let's put up a fight. You're still going to get rich, but instead of getting rich on drugs and alcohol and gaming, you get rich doing something healthy, healing the humans, right? Human consciousness is the most rare thing in the entire universe. And if you're not in the business of healing or improving the human condition, there's a chance that you're not acting optimally, right? Yeah, David Sinclair is cool. I like his stuff. I'd be interested in taking metformin or MNM, I believe is the new molecule, which he's happy about. That is my next focus. So after HEX, Scivive, how to survive through science, and popularize a movement of people investing in their own excellence, their own biological excellence. That's where it's at. Somebody says we all die someday. Well, okay, yeah, and? So, like, we all eat sandwiches. We all fart. Like, and? So is that some excuse to have less desire? Like, you want less out of your life? Because, what? Like, it'll suck one day, so let's make it suck now? Is that the idea? Stupid, right? Like, just improvement exists and it will be had. It's just a question of whether you get to experience it or not, period. Someone says, I don't like Richard's chance at this. Yeah, but you know what? It's like Elon Musk said. If you wanted to have a new business and you wanted to have a high likelihood of failure, go start a space rocket company and compete with the people that are like defense contractors. Lowest possible performance likelihood of success, right? Go try and start a car company. What's the last car company that was started and successful in the United States? Tucker? Back in the 30s, maybe 40s? Okay, that seems like a terrible idea. But the two things are so important that even if your likelihood of failure is 99%, you still have to do them because they're the best thing you can do with your money and your time anyway, because they might work. Now, both of those companies were this close to failing, right? They had enough money for one last rocket launch, and it had to work. And if it didn't work, they were going out of business. They got lucky and it worked, right? Same with Tesla. He needed to refi and refinance his loan to keep the company going. He'd already tapped out all of his funds, and at the last moment, it came through, right? So just the same way that Elon Musk has revolutionized rockets and revolutionized cars with the quickest, safest four-door car that's ever existed in the history of mankind. Oh, I don't like his rebate. Whatever. It's the quickest, safest car that's ever existed in the history of mankind. And soon they'll also have the quickest safest sedan, two-door car that's ever existed in mankind, right? With a Roadster. If that's not enough for you, shut up. You're player-hating little bitch. You're just a little hater, right? Reward the man for the excellence. He sleeps in the fucking factory. Reward him. He deserves it, right? But these people that have so little in their life, they can't create anything. The only way they can attempt to feel important is by tearing you down. They have nothing. And the only thing that they can do to try and feel like they matter is to scream and whine and complain and try and do harm to the great people of this world. It's disgusting. If you want to find greatness in this world, you need to build something. You need to do something with your time that you could be proud of. I just had some guy going through Reddit and just like posting garbage on every like thread related to me. And I guess he doesn't understand that like when you post on Reddit, it's public, I guess, like so you can see his personal post history. So this guy, so first I just like report him for harassment and then like ban him from every chat that I control. But I don't control all of them, right? So there's still crap left on things or chats I don't control, right? Subreddits. So you go through his post history and it's like, you know, I hate Richard, right? No family, no friends, fat, loser, just hilarious, right? And then no girlfriend was on there too, I think. And then so you go through his, like you click his post history, right? And then you see that it's like, okay, he hates me. And then he just posts on porn comments, like on porn subreddits, like says like naughty things to the girls or whatever. But he's really just talking like a photo, right? It's like some other guy uploaded a photo, a sexy photo, and then he's talking to the photos like it's a real girl. And then you scroll down more and he's like all into some crap coin and it's like gone to zero or whatever. And then you scroll down farther and you're just like looking at the, like you're watching the just drop. Okay. So anyway, like, I just thought I'd tell you that story. That if you find a troll on the internet, you actually look at their like post history and look at how their life has been going. It's truly, truly funny how bad some people's lives can be. Negative Nellies. Someone says, why don't you just say that the ETH in the AA goes directly to you, Richard? That's the honest answer, isn't it? Isn't that correct? Dude, I don't even know what the address is going to be. And I don't know who will hold the keys to it. So since I don't know, even if I would tell you, I can't. This concept that you can own an address doesn't make any sense, by the way. There's no owning an address. There's people that have the keys, and there's people that don't. Does that mean they own it? Well, I don't think so, because if I copy-paste my keys to 10 people, do they all own 10 times the money now? Or is it a race and whoever like claims it first owned it? And then what if one of them copies it and moves it on their own? Do more people own it now? The concept of like owning an address, it doesn't really make sense. So yeah, like I don't know. I don't know who's going to hold the keys to the address or what the address will be yet. So sorry, bro. And when I do know those things, I probably won't tell you anything about them anyway, because you're not going to receive any benefit from those funds anyway, so why do you care? When you go to Starbucks and you buy coffee, do you like AML KYC them and be like, yo, where's my money going? I'm going to need some proof on that. Is this going, which coffee bean places are you giving this money to? Like, you either send ETH to the AA or you don't. That's up to you. You can't expect any like profit from the work of others from doing so. If you want to consider it a donation to an unknown entity, go ahead. If you want to consider it, I don't care what you consider it, as long as you don't expect any benefit from it. Someone says I look very happy today. I imagine I look dead tired. That's what I think. Richard, is the AA lobby completely transparent and part of a smart contract? Yes. Or is this bucket construction centralized? No. So when you're a Bitcoin miner, you mint your own coins. Period. No one hands them to you. You mint them yourself. You brute force a hash of a nonce, which is like a number of an input, and then if it has as many leading zeros as required by the difficulty requirement, then those coins that you minted are recognized by the network as valid. So you mint your own rewards. HEX is the same way. When you free claim, the Ethereum network does all that same crap with the nonce and the hashing and the proof of work. And it also requires the proof of stake that you had Bitcoin or that you had joined the adoption amplifier. And so that's your stake and that's your proof of work, and it's a hybrid. And as long as you'd had both, then you mint your own rewards. And the network looks and it goes, yeah, your rewards are legit. And then all the other participants, will interact with you, right? So it's a trustless, verifiable, peer-to-peer system that you run. You run it. No one else runs it. There ain't no HEX network unless you're making it. You are the only one that can mint your rewards. You are the only one that can mint your coins when you exit the lobby, the AA lobby. You are the only one that can mint your rewards when you're staker. You are the only one that can mint your rewards when you free claim by proving with a cryptographic signature that you held BTC at the snapshot height, right? That's it. You are the network. So it's trustless, it's audited, you can read the code. It's public on the website at hex.win/techspecs.html. I need to upload the newest code that has tiny changes made to it regarding packing for data efficiency, the events, so that they use about 1,000 less gas per transaction. There might be one or two other small changes in there. I'm not sure if the variables renaming is in that one that's on the site right now. It's much easier if you're a developer if you just go in the GitLab and I add you to the GitLab, message me, t.me/Richard Hart. I could add you to the GitLab and you could read the contract in its most recent form. Somebody quotes somebody quotes the Wolf of Wall Street here. They say, "Richard, show me your pay stub for $72,000. I'll quit my job right now, work for you." That was a funny scene. Somebody says they're crying with laughter. I hope it's something I said. Might have been a comment though. Someone says, I'm torn between buying a ton of BTC to get free HEX or putting 1K USD worth of ETH into the pot. You do both, right? You have to know what your fees and risk is to buy Bitcoin, to hold it for the snapshot, and then to sell it after. I think after you measure the fees plus the risk that the price moves against you, that it's very likely that you're going to be better off in the AA system. Now, the only way that that will be made false is if so much money joins the AA system that the ratio you get reduces. So in the math that I did a good while ago, I think Bitcoin might have been 10,000 at the time, which means that your round trip per coin were higher. So, I was using 0.5% to get in, 0.5% to get out, which is Coinbase's standard fee, I believe, at their lowest tier, which I think most people would be. On the $10,000 price would have been $100 round trip, not even including the concept that the price can move against you. You could buy high and then end up selling low. Could happen, right? We don't know what the Bitcoin price is going to do at that moment. So if it were a $100 round trip, then day one, the amount of USD value of ETH that would have to go in the contract to break even, I think was 8.3 million, low 8 millions. So if more than 8 million went into the contract day one, then you would have been better off free claiming if you only cost you $100 to do so. But if less went in, right, if only 4 million went in, then you would have done twice as good in AA. And then if only 2 million went in, you would have done 4 times as good in AA. So, if less than hundreds of millions of dollars of ETH goes into this AA system, then I believe the AA will outperform free claim. But if you're already holding BTC and you don't have to pay the bid-ask spread and you don't have to worry about the price of the coin moving against you and you don't have to pay fees to get in and out, then it's a no-brainer to take the free, right? So this math is on hex.win/adoption-amplifier.html. Actually, I'm not even sure there's a dash in there. I think it's just adoption-amplifier.html. Can't remember if there's a dash or not. It's a link to off the homepage. Now it's not in the menu bar, so you actually have to go to the homepage and then scroll down to the section on the adoption amplifier, and then you'll see the link that has that. I mean, it's also pinned in the Telegram channel. It's also in the description of this video, is that link to the adoption amplifier description. So I think that people are going to do better in the AA system for maximum hex. But if you already are holding, then doing both makes sense probably. If you're not already holding, I think you're going to do better in AA. Do the math, right? These numbers are known because we know how many. The first day the numbers are known. We know how many hex will be in the AA bucket, and then we know. I should just say this to you guys real quick. So the AA system, the day one, has 1 billion hex in it, and then there's an empty bucket, and people put Ethereum into that bucket, and then if you hold 10% of the Ethereum bucket, you get 10% of the hex bucket, and 10% of 1 billion is 100 million. Okay, so if you put in 10% of the ETH, then you get 100 million hex on day one. Then the buckets empty out. The next day, new buckets. Probably about 500 million hex, and then an empty ETH bucket. And then people put ETH in there, and then whatever percent they are of that bucket, they get that percent of the hex that day, right? So either tons of economic energy in the form of ETH is going to come into the adoption amplifier, which makes the ratios less favorable per participant, which would make free claiming more attractive, or, less than millions of dollars per day goes in there, like less than $8 million a day or $4 million a day goes in there. And mind you, if you're getting a contract that gets $4 million of economic energy in it per day for 350 days, you're looking at about $1.2 billion. Okay, that's a lot of money. Nice. Whoever holds the keys to that must be a happy dude, right? So if it doesn't generate that much energy, then you will get much larger amounts of hex per unit of ETH than you would by free claiming. So, I've done the math, and it seems to me like AA is going to win. Is what it feels like to me. Someone says I think 2 hours is enough. I've been on 2 hours. Feels like I just started. Because I feel just as crappy now as when I started. By the way, do you guys know how easy it would be to make you big promises as to what that ETH could do? It would be the easiest thing in the world. It's hard to not make you promises. That's the hard road, and that's the road that I'm taking. Why would Richard care about HEX after he gets all your ETH? Well, I don't know. Well, let's see what happened to EOS. How's their price doing? Pretty good. We'll explain that. They sold $4.2 billion of Ether, and they've got, 100,000 Bitcoin in the Block 1 company. Seemed to work out for them. Well, what about every other crypto founder? Why do they still hold giant bags of their coins? Like this concept that crypto founders dump all their bags and move on to the next thing, it sounds fun, it's nice, and it's fun to meme about. But historically, it looks to be pretty rare. Vitalik still got a big ass bag of ETH and is working 100% hard on it, right? Satoshi hasn't even sold a coin, so he didn't dump. So who are these founders of top 10 cryptos that are just dumping their shit into the ground and disappearing? It's a fun meme, right? It's a fun story to tell. I can think of one guy, starts with light, ends with coin, that appears to divest fully from time to time. But of the other top 10 coins, I don't know of any other founders that have fully divested. It's just not a thing. And furthermore, since this project is meant to not expect any work from me anyway, then what do you care, right? You're not supposed to expect anything from me anyway. So whether I get hit by a bus or, I get abducted by aliens, who cares? The smart contract doesn't live or die by me. It's trustless code that lives on a blockchain that doesn't have any secret codes, right? All the functions are public. So there's no extra ability to do things in the system that the public doesn't have. Yeah, I'm tired. So I'm going to wait. I actually have finally found where there's a ticker that shows how long we've been on. So unless a really good question pops up, I'm going to wait till this like ticks over in 20 seconds over 2 hours. And then, I don't know, I guess I'll handle social. Like when I do these, people don't realize that there's things I have to do after these, right? Like there's timestamps from other YouTube videos that I need to post that are complete. There's other stuff I have to do. You know, I'm going to get a bunch of questions in HEX crypto chat, t.me/HEX crypto that I need to address. You know, there'll be 20 tags that people tag me specifically. They're going to want answers. And so when I get off the live chat with you guys, it's not like I just get to call it quits. There's still other stuff I have to do. Yeah, I didn't realize it had been 2 hours either. Have I ever had a psychedelic experience? Not really. I'm not into that. I might save that for my 60s or something. See, in my belief, psychedelics are a risk to reward ratio. There's a chance that you improve yourself, but there's a chance that you degrade yourself. And so the question is, are you already very happy with where you're at? And if you are already very happy with where you're at, then it reduces the amount of extra happy you can get. And so I'm not willing to risk what I am for a low percentage chance of becoming a slightly better me, and maybe a low percentage chance of becoming a worse me, right? So I'm not into the psychedelic thing. A lot of other people are. Congrats. I hope it works out for you. So there's this guy named HEX Awareness Team that just like put HEX Awareness Team in his name. There's no relationship to the project whatsoever, but he's talking about it like everywhere. And so it's like people ask me like if he's related to the team, and I'm always like, no. Like, why would you think that? Is he on the team list on the website? But good job shilling, bro. Like shill it up, man. Become a shillionaire. See, people say do LSD, it's life changing. I bet it is. I bet it makes you think your life has been changed. Just like learning speedreading makes you think you read faster. But then when you test people, they're not actually any faster. And then when I look at like the quality of life components that I care about, like how productive are you? For me, the people that I know that are into LSD, they become less productive, right? So like I did an interview with an AI guy named Ben Gertzel at this last conference in Singapore a day or two ago. And I'm going to publish it soon, I believe. Because we talked about, longevity and AI, and we didn't really talk about crypto much, which is, if I get the opportunity to talk about not crypto, it's pretty fabulous because I have enough crypto going on. So, he seemed stoned off his ass to me. And I think if he were sharper and, less tutti frutti, dreamy stuff, that he would be more effective. And I think a lot of people, they take mind-altering substances and they think that they're better, but it's really just them thinking that. And then when you look at the measurements, you're like, okay, well, now you care less about stuff because you're more fulfilled without effort. Okay, so now you get less done. So if you want to feel better and get less done, okay, it seems to work really well for that. But if you want to feel better and get more done, it doesn't seem like that's the particular chemical that you would want, right? Like the psychedelics don't seem to lead towards increased productivity. They seem to lead towards decreased productivity and more happiness maybe, and the occasional killing your friend's psychotic break kind of thing. So it's not a good risk-reward ratio for me. So HEX Awareness Team says, not Schiller. I'm not pretending to like something else and slipping HEX into the convo. I proudly promote HEX. It is a cool-ass project. I like the cut of your jib, sir. I like that response. Thus, I have clicked show when it was like automatically muted for some reason. Someone says, allows you to see geometry and open your mind, especially with microdosing. Well, actually, in my research, microdosing appears to not actually have any effect at all, other than placebo, and allows you to see geometry. I already see geometry, dude. See, like, look at that comment, right? So he thinks there's value in seeing geometry. HEX, I'm wearing geometry, bro. I bet I'm wearing more geometry than you with no LSD. And I love it. It's great, but like, it doesn't unlock doors. It's not a key, right? It's just a shape. So you have like a shape fetish now. So you took a drug and you're in love with shapes now. And I don't see the benefit, dude. Like, I don't care about crystals. I don't care about shapes more than their utility. You know, I like aesthetics, but I don't like, LSD permanently makes you more open-minded. Okay, well, I'm pretty open-minded already, dude. Like, what else? What am I rejecting out of my life? Like, what am I missing? I'm not missing anything, man. I've traveled the world, seen all the things, done a lot of stuff. I'm not missing anything. There's nothing a pothead knows or does that I'm missing in my life, nor a psychonaut. Psychonaut. Naut. Steve Jobs would disagree. He's dead. He lost the game. Somebody says no microdosing, macrodosing. That's funny. Look, man, people want to change their experience of the world, right? We do mood-altering dance. We do mood-altering song. We do mood-altering ingestion of food. We want to vary our state. We want to engage in different moods. I get that, and I do it. I don't need chemicals to do it. Some people like the chemical route. I used to drink. I didn't start drinking until I was 30. I drank from 30 to 39. I quit. I don't drink anymore. It's great. I like it. I like it better. I've done both things, right? I used to drink coffee. It tasted good. Now I don't. I like it better. I did it. I tried it. And now I'm doing something I like better. All right. So, in summary, you guys have the opportunity now to get in on something at the ground floor. I remember back when I first started mining Bitcoin, getting 50 block rewards for just letting it run an EXE on my computer. No pool. Direct. Me and the Bitcoin network. I have mined blocks that are in the network and will be there forever, right? I had that opportunity because I was in early. Imagine the guys that bought Bitcoin at $1 and they held it. They had the opportunity to sell it $20,000 less than 10 years later. That's amazing. So the fact that you now have the opportunity to get into something that can do a lot of things better than Bitcoin, that has so many things going for it, great community engagement. We've got 18,000 people on the email list, really about 22,000, but long story. We'll call it 18,000. There's no money that's been spent on marketing, not a single dollar, nothing. No banner ads, no cost per click, nothing. That's what we've gotten with no marketing budget at all. Meme guys making great memes. Shill guys shilling excellently. Branding, slogans, stake it till you make it. If you're giving programmable money, the first program should be interest. Trustless interest. Shillionaire, Pumpamentals, HEX, Gox Me Not, Truth Engine, Adoption Amplifier. The slogans and branding and imagery is top tier in the system. A name that you can't misspell, HEX. And if you do misspell it, you're going to get my ref link. So if you decide to type HECKS.win, yeah, you're going to get my ref link. The system's amazing. And to me, it feels like buying Bitcoin at $1. That's the opportunity that it feels like to me. It could be a once in a lifetime thing. This really could be the highest appreciating asset that has ever existed in the history of mankind. This was designed to do. I'm extremely impressed. We attack a larger market with more security, with better pumpamentals, with better virality. There's so many good things here. So tell your friends, get your private keys into your wallets if you're a BTC holder. Learn about the adoption amplifier. Be ready to send Ethereum to it. Join the chat rooms. Follow HEX Crypto on Twitter, twitter.com/HEX Crypto. Follow us on YouTube, twitter.com/Richard Hart for me, or twitter.com/HEX Crypto. Join the Telegram chat, t.me/hex crypto, t.me/hex memes, t.me/hex viral if you're a referrer, t.me/hex charts, hex trading, hex videos. And that doesn't include all the other chat rooms I run, like Scivive, SCIVIVE, or Strape, STRAPE, like strawberry grape, or Strape charts, or Richard's calls, or I predict the price. So, I mean, I predicted the 20K Christmas. I predicted the multi-year bear at 8,500, which only went to 1 year, which is funny enough. I predicted, close your shorts at 4,000 before the pump to 14. Called long at 10, went to 12 with a $50 dip under my call, which is amazing, like absolutely wonderful call. But then the dip continued, called that quits at 10.4. Like price call history is good. Everything's good. Everything's free. Like I'd give you guys a lot of free stuff. Enjoy it. This could be the start of life changing for you guys. Wonderful life change, improvement. It could be that, and we're all in it together. It's this system doesn't exist without you guys. You make it. You are the system. So, Richard Hart signing off. It's been a pleasure, guys. I hope to. My first priority, I think, should be that a walkthrough video, and then maybe a mobile wallet walkthrough video, and then maybe ring up some more exchanges and some whales I know. That feels like the right thing. Good talking to you guys. Goodbye.